Data is important in any value stream to connect the dots and make things happen. And in healthcare, ultimately for patients, it impacts people. And it's surprising how the data is still so disconnected across this entire value chain. We help both life sciences and healthcare to have a better capability to work with the data. And it's always people, the data, some processes and the technology. In Global Value App, we focus on data for our clients all the way from source to finite customer. And a lot of companies and businesses have a real need to drift away from just understanding technology, but really take ownership of the data and have their people take that ownership. Taking the data as a point is a good way to get organized and a good way to get better outcome for your patients. GVW helps its clients to better perform for their patients. We help them to bring more speed, bring more quality into the process, more compliance. Compliance is pretty important. Add a decent price-performance ratio. And what that brings ultimately is trust in their work, that they are connecting the dots and able to deliver better to their customers. That's what we do. Speed, compliance, quality, and trust.
Data analytics is nothing but using the raw data, you create a lot of insightful, actionable insights into that. And I think why it has become very critical for the life sciences industry is that it has several use cases that help the pharma industry. Digital transformation is not something that you could do overnight. You can't turn on the switch and turn off the switch. It's a journey. So from that perspective, it's an evolution rather than a revolution. And in order for transformation journey to be successful, there are 4 to 5 pillars that are very critical, right? You have experiences, your people, your change management, your innovation, and your culture. And those things you can't dictate. Those things are something that teams have to come together. It's a collaborative experience. When scientists are working on a drug product or a drug discovery, or a researcher or a clinical scientist is working on a research, one of the key struggles they face is data, access to data, and accuracy of the data, right? So imagine that bulk of that information is now addressed with some form of availability of accuracy, reliability. So you're improving the speed with which the clinical scientists can do their drug discovery, which would lead to speed of drug development. And then eventually you're able to manufacture the drugs reliably. So from that perspective, I think practitioners and scientists alike really appreciate the fact that as GVW, we provide these services that allows them to have the streamlined access of the data. We help organizations, our customers, actually create that connectivity. We are the link that is working on the supplier side, on the manufacturing side, inside the organization, to get all of the data together, that we look at it, we organize it, and we give it to the right parties within the organization and right stakeholders to use it in their processes.
Work that we do is making the logical connections from where every step in the value chain related to product going to consumers. So that's just how we are connecting data. That makes data flow around the world for industries as such. The work that GVW is doing to enhance that is working for the clients for the data, but we also work in standards bodies where we help to create standards that ease the exchange of data across the world. Odyssey is all about what they call the real world data and the real world evidence related to coming from patient data. So all your records, your patient records at your doctor's practice, in hospitals, in diagnostic centers is all floating around. It sits in different databases. What if we can unlock them all with one standard and then pull the data together across the standard and do the research on top of that data. That was the premise of, and is the premise of Odyssey. We doing a lot of work from India. There was no India chapter yet from the Odyssey. So working along with the Odyssey community, we mobilized together with JSS Aher in Mysore, and together with, at that time, Janssen Pharmaceuticals, now J&J Innovative Medicines. We actually created the Odyssey chapter in India. India is a massive country. There's maybe the data is not exactly where it needs to be, but in this journey of Odyssey, you can also have a journey towards better data and ultimately to better research for better patient outcome.
It's very important that the academia, where hugely the life science research happens, should be very closely associated with industry, and the flow of information from the life sciences laboratories should get into the industry, and industry should be able to take up that and then convert it into a product. There is a positive direction that is flowing in there. With that, what will happen is the inaccessible areas will get accessibility for better healthcare.
We are creating a platform for, I would say, radically change how practitioners and healthcare professionals have access to information. Right? Think about this. You have a hospital, let's say in Bangalore, right? And that hospital has information only about their patients, right? And they're treating all those patients with the help of the doctors that are from Bangalore and working in that hospital. So the data that you work with is limited to that group, right? The treatments that you're providing is limited to that group. Now multiply that with, for the same disease, you have access to treatments provided to and research done on the same particular disease from multiple sources, not just within India, but also globally, right? So now not only are you able to provide a better care to the patients, but also with much more most latest research done in the space. Mass adoption of these standards, what I call one data, one source, one science, definitely facilitates, even if the focus is one patient, even if the focus is on improving the care of the patient, the mass adoption facilitates all of that processes.
The reason for Global Value of joining this particular ISO standards body, which is the health informatics standards, they're sort of the pinnacle of where the data standards for the drug products, for the digitization of drug products is being set. I think by taking a seat at the table, I think we can help to clarify what are the segments to look at, what is a use case for a patient. What is a logical structure for data, and what are technical implementations. For Global Value, we have to partner and create alliances with the institutes that work in health, for example, Health Parliament here in India itself, or the Odyssey, what we talk about, or an industry alliance like the Pistoria Alliance where we are, and we are a member of so many other groups that's on that level. Plus we have what we call technology value partnerships with companies that in the digital space are front runners. Bringing in then the academics, in the academics we'll find the people that have the life science background, that have the healthcare background, etc. It's these mix of things that are necessary as, let's say, foundation blocks to make the data flow.
An enormous amount of data is being generated by these institutions, but they are all lying somewhere in the cloud and not being effectively used. So if the association between companies like GVW and those institutions come up, and then GVW is able to structure that information, make it more productive for these other stakeholders, so we will be able to get better healthcare and outcomes that are needed in the right direction. At the end of the day, the end user is the one who demands what he or she needs. Okay, so what is important is the patient requirements are very, very critical, and unless the patient expresses the need for a type of solution, or unless he expresses the kind of problem that he or she has it, the industry or the research will not be able to develop products in accordance with that one. So it's very essential that the patient should communicate effectively his voice, so that right kind of solutions could be provided, and in the right geographies and the right locations.
Applying the artificial intelligence, applying the machine learning, those are all elements of intelligent automation. And those are in the toolbox that the professionals need to bring along. I think all combinations of artificial intelligence, intelligent automation contribute to that. But we see them as tools and we use them as tools. So our scientists, our professionals work with these things as tools, as should every individual in the world. We have literacy, we also need to have digital literacy expanded across the world.
In the world of the healthcare and life sciences, we're just scratching the surface. There's so much more that I see that eventually I do feel that we will be able to create single patient-focused treatments. It'll be that customized. That's where I think the future is going to be. How do we predictively avoid certain onsets of diseases? How can we predictively create better health and wellness? And also, prevent, hopefully, some of these pandemics that we all witnessed in the last, few years.